Alrighty, here we go. Last section of Module 6, two-step equations. We've done this, I did a little preview earlier before we started this whole section. So now we're getting to the meat and potatoes of some of this algebra, okay? And so what I want you to write, how do I write and solve two-step equations? You'll notice that in section 3, we spent most of our time just interpreting and translating a word problem into an algebraic sentence into that equation. So now we're just bringing it all together. Isolate the variable means get the variable alone every single time. However, it's going to be more challenging this time because yes, we need to use inverse operations, but emphasis on the plural here. There's going to be more than one step. And so not only are we going to undo, but we have to go in the reverse order of our operations. So a lot of times I'm going to have you talk about or think about what's happening to your variable. For example, look at number 1. Find the variable. There it is right there, x. You are multiplying it by 2 and then adding 5. So when we undo and we reverse, the first thing we need to do is undo that 5. Subtract it. I need you to show your work on both sides. It's going to be so critical. That leaves us with a new equivalent equation, 2x equals 6. We're almost there. Now we need to undo 2 times that variable x. And so we're going to divide both sides by 2 because 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 1 times x over 1 is x. Ta-da! Got it alone. X is 3. Check your answer. Very critical now. You have a calculator in your hands. If I say x is 3, you have to take 2 times 3 and then add 5. Does it give you 11? If your answer is correct and you've got the right solution, it works. All right, let's look at number 2, way over here. N is my variable. I'm multiplying by 3 and then I subtract by 1. Go in reverse. Add 1. Because what that will do is a minus 1 and a plus 1 are opposites and they go to 0. 3n plus a 0 or minus a 0, whichever way you want to think about it, simply leaves you with 3n. This gives us 9. Hot diggity, because 3 times what number gives you 9? You can probably see it in your head. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times n over 1 is n. That's exactly what I wanted. Hey, I got 3 again. Check your answer. 3 times 3 minus 1. Do you get 8? Yes. All right, hurry up. Do these next 2. You've got the process down. Stop the video for a moment, pause it, and check when you come back. All right, compare your work with mine. I should see this step. I should see this intermediate equation. I should see this step. I should see your solution written as a equals -1. Don't just put -1 down. We're going to be very algebraic now. And then you should check your answer. 2 times -1 minus 3. Check and see if you get -5. All right, finally, this guy, and I'm oomping this up a little bit, so we're making sure you can see it. First step, subtract 2 so that that goes to 0. Next step, be careful. Watch your signs. That should be -4. Next step, divide by -4. I get 1y. So I've isolated my variable. This also gives me positive 1. And check your answer. Negative 4 times 1 and a plus 2. Does that work? I think it does. All right, turn the page over. Let's look at these. A dog sled driver added more gear to the sled. And I'm going to shift this a little bit so that it's a little easier on the screen to read. Oh, I'm going to get that out of there. Ta-da, da, 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 da. Okay, well, maybe not. All right. This felt too heavy after doubling the weight, so the driver removed 20 pounds to reach the final weight of 180 pounds. Write and solve an equation to find the sled's original weight. So we're trying to find the original weight, and they're recommending let that be W. So I have this weight. Here's what the sled dog driver did. He added more, so he doubled the weight times 2. It felt too heavy, so he removed 20 pounds from that doubled weight, and he got 180. So your first step is to translate it. Now go ahead and solve. You must show your work on both sides. That goes to 0. Yay, hooray, that goes away. You get a new intermediate equation that says 2W equals 200. Divide both sides by 2. It is not that painful. W equals 100. Want to make sure that you note here 100 pounds. At the final answer, please make sure you label it. You know, it's like that famous Beyonce song. If you like it, then you better put a label on it. Oh, oh, oh. Da, da. Okay, triplets. They have triplets. And another child who is 10 years old. The sum of the ages of all of the children is 37. How old are the triplets? So we need to assign a variable to stand for the triplets' age. I don't know, T, A. This is the age of one triplet. Okay, so there are 3 of them because that's what triplets means. So 3 times the triplets' age, and then plus the other child who's 10. That has to equal 37. There's your equation. Go ahead and solve. Pause the video if you want, and then come on back in a minute and double check your work. I should see a subtracting 10 on each side. Then I should see dividing by 3 on each side, so that T equals 9. Your final answer is 9 years old. That's how old each of the triplets are. Ooh, I love these ones. 5 less than the quotient of a number and 4 is 15. What is the number? It's kind of like a puzzle or a riddle. What is the number? That's your variable. So you pick whatever letter you like. I like to use N because that's telling me number. They start with the same letter. Helps me remember. All right, now let's go back and translate this. 5 less than. Stop right now. That means you are subtracting 5 from something up here. And then I get is 15. 5 less than the quotient, divide, of some number and 4. So there's the quotient of a number and 4. This is 5 less than the quotient of a number and 4 is equal to 15. There we go. All right, here's my variable. I'm dividing and then I'm subtracting. Reverse the order and undo. So instead of subtracting 5, which was the last thing I was doing, you're going to add 5 on each side of the equal sign. Yay, hooray, that goes away. And anything plus a 0 is just that thing. Careful now. Your eyeballs want to go faster than your brain. I'm dividing a number by 4 and I get 20. If your eyeball is telling you 5, 5, 5, because you remembered that 4 and 5 are factors of 20, I'm going to say slow down, because this means some number divided by 4 gives me 20. That's got to be big, bigger than 20. Haha, what you need to do to solve this thing is multiply both sides by 4. Multiply both sides by 4. Notice I'm writing it as a fraction because n over 4 is written as a fraction. 4 in the numerator divided by 4 in the denominator means 1 times n over 1. That's just n. This is 80. Hey, I forgot we should be checking our answers. What's 80 over 4 minus 5? 20, 15. Back up here. 9 years old for the triplets. If I take 3 times each triplet and then add another 10, does that equal 37? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okie dokie. Do we have more examples? Oh my goodness, look at this. What on earth is this equation? This, see, they have already interpreted it for you. That you'll see this on your Minnesota Comprehensive Assessment. I guarantee. I bet almost every year students tell me that there's something about the conversion between Fahrenheit and Celsius. So here we go. This is your Fahrenheit temperature. The first thing you have to do is subtract 32. Then we multiply by 5/9 and we get -10. So let's solve this equation. Well, when I see something like this, I say to myself, goodness gracious, I need to distribute first. 5/9 times x minus whatever 5/9 times 32 is. Now, this isn't going to be a handy-dandy, super nice number, okay? Sorry. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to have to take 5/9 times 32, and that gives us something like 160 over 9, which doesn't look like a beautiful number. Ugh. Okay? Fear not, my friends, you have a calculator, and that will help you out. Add 160 over 9. Okay? Now, notice I'm leaving this as some gross fraction. Okay? This goes to 0, so this is nice. If you grabbed your calculator right now and did this, you will get some answer written as a fraction. What I'm going to do here is I'm saying to myself, -10 is the same as -90 over 9. See, what I'm doing is I'm getting it as a common denominator. So really on the left here, I'm thinking, what's -90 over 9 plus 160 over 9? And that's going to give me positive 70 over 9. Okay, now in theory, typically what we say is undo. Since I'm multiplying x by this fraction, you need to divide by this fraction. Divide by this fraction. Now, thanks to technology and the beautiful calculators that you have, you can take 70/9 and divide it by 5/9, and you just get an answer. I'm saying in the olden days, we would have said, oh, well, dividing by a fraction means multiply by the reciprocal, and this problem is not that bad. Because you see, I have a 9 in the numerator and a 9 in the denominator. Ha. And frankly, actually 5 fits into 70 because 70 is a number that ends in 0, and I think you get 14. This tells me 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Boom. Double check your answer. Take 14 minus 32. That gives you like -18. Multiply it by 5/9 and shazam, it'll check. All right. Oh, we've got a couple left here. All right. Let's take a look at this one. The airplane flies at 38,000 feet. As it nears the airport, the plane begins to descend at a rate of 600 feet per minute. And at this rate, how many minutes will it take to descend to 18,800 feet? Ooh. So it's starting at 38,000. We want to figure out, okay, so I kind of need to take that 38,000 and I'm going to descend or subtract 600 feet times every minute, okay? And then that will get me to 18,800. Okay, here's my variable. The first thing you need to do is get rid of 38,000. I know you see that minus, but I need you to think of subtracting 38,000 here because that is what is going to wipe that out to go to 0. So subtract 38,000 here. Oops, 0. All right, when you do that, I believe we get negative. I'm going to grab my calculator to check, but I think it's 19,200. Minus 18,800. Yep, 19,200. All right, now we just have to divide by negative 600. Negative 600. Phew, that's a positive 1m. That's exactly what we wanted. When you divide this guy, I think we get 32. Your answer is 32 minutes. Check it. Plug 32 in here and subtract and see what you get. Make sure it works. Last one. Jenny earned 92 out of 120 points on her test. She lost 4 points for each incorrect answer. How many incorrect answers did she have? So the test started with 120 points. She lost a certain number of points because of incorrect answers. How many incorrect answers? Well, let's just say A for, or should we say like W for wrong? I'm going to say W for the number of wrong answers. Okay, and it was 4 points times every wrong answer. Her score was 92. Go ahead and solve this one just like you solved the one above it, and let's see what you get. Those go to 0. Don't lose the minus sign or that negative sign. I think that gives us this. Divide, make sure you're dividing by negative 4 on each side. That gives me positive 1W. Yay. This gives me positive 7. She missed, or she had 7 incorrect or wrong answers. Ta-da! All right, you're masters of solving two-step algebraic equations. Good luck, may the force be with you, and check for your exact assignment on Schoology.